Hello Capricorn, I am Ulrich, I'm a Roman card reader, and today we will do the financial philosophical card reading with another deck for the sign of Capricorn for the month of March. As always, we will do 4 card readings for the sign of Capricorn for the month of March. And these are based on the natural elements in your astrological chart, or for some of you on your time of birth. These basic elements are air, earth, water, and fire. Now, the 4 objects that you always see on my table are directly connected to those elements. So you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. This object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your current situation. However, if the object and the related video does not match your first choice, please check the other videos that are immediately connected in the same session. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. Anyway, the matches represent the fire element, the stone represents the earth element, the aerosol sprayer represents the air element, and the shell represents the water element. So Capricorn, here we go for your financial card reading for the month of March. And I want to add, if you have questions, you can always post them in the comments below. And as soon as I have time, of course, I will answer. So Capricorn, here we go for your reading. Hello Capricorn, and welcome to the Shell or the Water group for your philosophical card reading, financial card reading. As your first card here, we see the card of evolution. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us that everything in life is changing. Nothing stays the same in our life. And also we ourselves, we evolve over the years, and so do our expenses here. 2 decades that follow one another are not alike. Sometimes we don't even need a decade if we think about how the situation or our life was 3 years ago, and we compare it with now. We know that the world has turned upside down. Certain freedoms, certain liberations are changed, and life in general has changed. Anyway, coming back to the reading here, 20 years ago, we would have found it unusual to pay a large amount, for instance, for certain services, as there is the internet here. So some expenses that we have are increasing. So therefore, we must also eliminate what was essential in the past and which is today no longer important for us. For instance, if you no longer receive calls at home and you still have a landline, you should maybe we should ask ourselves, what is the purpose of this number if we pay for it and we don't use it? If we catch ourselves watching broadcasts on the internet, what is the relevance of maintaining certain subscriptions to TV channels? It has no purpose, because especially if you always watch everything on the internet and you no longer watch the TV channels, it has no purpose for you and it's only expense that you don't need anymore. Also, it's about newspapers. If we have a newspaper or we have a magazine that we are subscribed on, it could be any, and you're still in the paper version. Sometimes it's 30 to 40% cheaper if we go for the online version. So you should consider if you cannot stop all these expenses that I just mentioned. Here we are asked to review our monthly payments. This is what we are seeing here. And sometimes also it's about reviewing our banking here. Sometimes it's also is that our banking is overcharging us, that we should consider internet banking, because mostly internet banks are even your own bank. If you go for internet banking, it will be much cheaper. But if you go 100% for online banking, this is where the real saving is. Of course, I know what you're thinking, is this all safe? Well, if you do some investigation, you probably find out that even your own bank has some internet banks, and sometimes under a different name, or they are closely connected to one internet bank. Anyway, you check it out and you should consider this. Adjusting, evolve with the times here. It's important that we do so, and we should stop spending the money that is no need for spending. The next card that we are seeing here is about our children. Children are a beautiful world. And of course, we are aware that they are also expensive. The apple of our eye, it costs us a serious amount of money. And as with each budget item, if I may put it this way, there are essential expenses for them and other, of course, that are less essential. When requests sometimes come from all sides, we are tending to lose our head here. And sometimes also we say yes, but then this card asks us here, instead of superficial spending or saying yes for certain things, do you invest enough in their education, in their culture, in their health, or are you just following the flow of other parents, the trends of the moment, the new cell phone, the latest newest shoes, whatever it is here, what are the trends of the moments here? And here we are asked regarding our children to establish certain priorities according to your own personal values and not according, of course, to their peers. Here, this card tells us that we don't need to tell ourselves stories. You know that your children, or most children, have no limits as it comes to desires. Of course, you cannot generalize, there are exceptions, and exceptions confirm the rule. But in general, children have very few limitations. They will not stop till they get what they have their focus, their mind on. And as soon as you have said yes, of course, the new request is there already. So here, this card tells us here, stop wasting energy on these things here. If you say no and you put your priorities in a different way, make sure that they will understand you. They will understand you. Anyway, it's important with this card that we teach them certain priorities and especially your own priorities. The next card is the card of the cycle of life. What is the cycle of life? Well, each period of our life, it has changes, it has challenges also. No matter in what stage of our life we are, there are always additional expenses. We know some are reoccurring expenses, like we saw here earlier, the monthly payments, but also there are expenses that we did not anticipate. Here we see, for instance, for continuing here, for instance, we know if we have an infant, a small baby here, if you are a young parent, you probably thought during that time it is a heavy period because you have a lot of expenses, and after this period of that they are like a baby, you were financially taught, or you thought you would be financially relieved when this period is past. Of course, you soon get to realize when they grow into teenagers, something changed. They get their sports, they get their activities, there are clothes related to that, and of course, you come into a different area of expenses. Then we think, okay, maybe now it's finally better, but then you know that the university is just around the corner, you need to foresee accommodations, and of course, you need to face these costs. So it means that any period of your life, it has some economical challenges, and this is what we need to face. Also, for instance, for ourselves, we have a house, we step into this house, it's new, and after 20 years, there are expenses. We need to change the roof, we need to adjust the roof, we need to adjust the plumbing. This is about the cycle of life here. And if we go into that, sometimes we forget also that we need to make some savings. And this is a card here that life is a cycle, but we also cannot forget to save some money. And you need to get here, this card tells us that we need to get more. This is a reading about more control over your money. And here, this reading tells us that we need to get more control and make more savings for ourselves for a future to come, because we never know what comes in the future. This is what this reading is about. Capricorn, this is all for the Shallow the Water group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. If you are interested in work or business card readings, things related to your work, what is happening in your work with your job, you can find that also. I'm using the Lenormand, the classic Lenormand cards for that. And of course, we do also the spiritual philosophical card readings. It's a totally different angle, but sometimes you get a lot of additional information out of these cards. So you can check it out. It costs you nothing, and we never know too much. Anyway, Capricorn, I want to thank you for your time. And of course, I thank you for subscribing to my channel. See you next time, Capricorn. Bye-bye for now. Hello Capricorn, and welcome to the Aerosol or the Air Group for your financial philosophical card reading for the month of March. As your first card here, we see the card of the holidays. What does this card tells us? Well, it tells us here that probably mostly this is that we might be a little bit too generous due to certain holidays, maybe during the Valentine's period we were a little bit too generous, and we have different celebrations through the holidays, and this card tells us that the whole thing has become very commercial here. It's not a question that we buy, of course, a box of chocolate for our loved one or a bottle of perfume. It's not about that here, but here, this card tells us that society had lost the reason, the very reason, what constitutes the basis here or the essence for these festivals. It doesn't matter if you're religious, spiritual or not, but here we see that, for instance, I give Christmas here as an example, it gradually changed from a sacred holiday to a celebration of abundance. And for most of us, this is the case here. Mostly in the year, the rest of the year, we have a very good financial goodwill. We take care, we budget. But during certain holidays, as there is Valentine now or Christmas, sometimes we overindulge in expenses, overindulge in spending money. And of course, then the month later or a few months later, we are still confronted with certain horrors of invoices that are arriving. And here this card, it wants you to remember why this festival exists. It wants you to investigate a little bit and learn about the origin of Valentine, the origin of Easter. It wants you to put back, it doesn't matter if you're religious or not, or spiritual or not, but it wants you to put back these celebrations in their historical context. And it wants them to give you back the sincere meaning rather than over consuming. Here, this card also, it wants us to avoid ourselves and don't fool ourselves or don't be fooled by advertising, marketing, because this is a period of marketing here. Indirectly, we are confronted with marketing during the holidays here. Gifts that we are representing or that we are presenting to loved ones, they are an expression of feelings. And it's not about quantity here. It's not about the price here, but what should come first here is the real attention to the loved ones that you give to the loved ones. And mostly, this card tells us also actually the most, what we should give them is the most expensive gift of all. And actually that one don't cost nothing. And this is the next card. We should give the loved ones our time, our personal time. And by letting them valuing our personal time, we will have a closer bond with them. This is the most expensive gift that you can give them, and it will bring you in a closer relationship with them. The next card is the card of time. As I said here, what does this card tells us? Well, when it comes to personal finances, time is not our friend. This is what I tell, especially if you have certain debts, maybe on credit cards. These debts bring interests, and if you don't take care of these interests, your debts increase. Ignoring the problem don't solve the problem. Putting your hand in the sand, it don't improve your situation. So here, this card tells us that we need to take charge of the situation, not waiting for the next holiday, but we need to take the bull by the horns as soon as possible. Most likely it's best to start today or tomorrow here. So don't wait for another holiday to take action, because this will not improve your situation. It will only get worse, and you will get more interests. There is no such time as a perfect time for a repayment of certain debts. It's now, this card tells us that it's time to act. Also, this card tells us we need to secure ourselves more financial. This is a very secure reading that we are having here, because the next card is also about security. Here, this card tells us, this one, that we need to secure ourselves more financially. Probably you will need to change certain habits that you have, maybe related here to spending. You need to change certain habits here radically here, because probably you are in a situation now that you could have avoided. If you don't know how you end up in the situation, the most easy way is to gather all your invoices, put everything together, write everything down, and then you see where the problem is. If you know it by heart, well, no need then. But we need to change radically here our consumption habits. So don't wait here for repayments of debt here. Take the reins of your budget in your own hands and rush towards more sustainability, one step at a time here, and you will come there. The next card that we are seeing here is the card about irregularities in life here. We should prepare ourselves for the future because we never know what is coming here. And no matter in what area of life we are, financially, there will always be rainy days, there will always be storms. So when it comes to money, also it's unrealistic that we don't need to prepare ourselves for the irregularities of life. And this card is the card of questions. It asks you, let's assume that the situation is changing. Do you have a rescue plan? Do you have a safety cushion? Did you foresee the unforeseen? Did you foresee the unpredictable? We never know. This card tells us what will happen in life and when it will happen, how it will happen. But this card asks you, are you ready to face financial turmoil, a sudden disruption? And did you prepare for it? And if you prepare, how did you prepare? So we should ask also, this is also about insurances. Sometimes it means, or it can mean that we don't have sufficient insurances on our life or in general in our life. Also, it's about our income. Is your income stable or is it always changing? Sometimes also it's about the things that we daily use. Is your car still in good condition? Can it go? Can it run for a few years? Or do you need to maintain it? Are you expecting expenses? Also about our home. Is the home still in good condition? Is the roof still good? Is the plumbing still good? These are all things here that this card asks. Sometimes also it asks us if we have savings, or do you really spend all you earn? And let's assume then there comes a pay cut. So this is not, it's not a negative card, but it's just a card about reflection. It wants you to make yourself secure, stable, and it wants you to reflect over things that we cannot foresee. So we need to act here in control, and if necessary, we need to foresee the unforeseen. So this is all, Capricorn. I hope you get a little bit wiser for the Aerosol group. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you are interested in career readings, work readings, evolution in your work, what is happening there, you can check the classic Lenormand card readings. They are about work and business. Then we also do the spiritual card readings. These are additional to the classic readings, and if you combine the 3 together, you get a very good result. So you just check it out. We never know too much in life. Anyway, Capricorn, I want to thank you for your time and also for subscribing to my channel, and we see each other, of course, next time. See you next time, Capricorn. Bye bye for now. Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to the Stone Group for your philosophical financial card reading. What we see here as your first card is the card of luck. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us, for starters, that money don't bring happiness, but we all are very aware that we need it. According to, for instance, Maslow's pyramid, we first need to meet our basic needs, as there is food here. And also then we need to cover our psychological and security needs. And then we aspire, of course, to self-fulfillment. And however, these basic needs or this security needs, these of course they don't include that we need to buy the car of the year every time. These are not essential needs. Sometimes here this is a card about confusion, and sometimes people confuse essential needs with being at ease. Of course, we all like to have more. We like to travel more if this is already possible. Here we like to spend more, but here this card also wants to think about the feel. Do we, when we buy a new car, when we buy certain things, does this give us a feeling of completeness? So this card wants you to take a break of spending and think about the pursuit of happiness. It depends, of course, it's for everybody different here. Some people associate this with the standard of living word of that of a king. Other people are more in the center, and other people are happy with basic things. Anyway, if money were so strongly connected to joy and bliss, why are so many of the super rich unhappy? So this is a question that we should ask here. Of course, money is essential to meet our basic need. However, when these are fulfilled, then your quest for happiness is it becomes personal. So this card tells us to enjoy the little things in life and appreciate what is already around you, because probably the most expensive gift of the most things that are very valuable for you are right in your house and are around you. And those are the people who like you and who cherish you and who you cherish yourself. The next card is the card of gifts. Probably you are about to make some gifts to people. Maybe something is happening in the family or close to you, and we are about to maybe we are needed to give some gifts, some presents here, and we all like to receive gifts. We like to give gifts, and sometimes during holidays we give in excess here, but this card is also the card of creativity. So if something is about to come up, a festivity or whatever, you need to give present, are you creative and original in your choices of present? Are you generous without penalizing your wallet? If you want to do that, if you want to be generous without penalizing your wallet, you need to give it some time and planning, this card tells us, but it will be worth the effort. Why? Because you actually give the people two gifts. For instance, we see here the jars with the jam and with the fruits or whatever is in there. And this requires, for starters, your time. So we all have short of it. We are all short of time. So if you make something yourself for another person, you make an investment, because you invest your time, because you make this gift yourself. So you automatically get the wow. This is what we are seeing here with this card. So here, rather than buying things in baskets of gifts, come up with a few ideas yourself here. As we see here, create some recipes in jars, chili, soup, cookies, whatever, ointments here. You can present them very trendy with some fabrics, ribbons, whatever, and they will be highly appreciated and respected because you made them yourself, and also because you invested your personal time here. So here you should invest your time in that here. If you are, of course, not that type, you are not able to do those things, or you have no qualities in this area, and you are still confronted with certain expenses, you can do it maybe in a different way. It is maybe a little bit a cruel way, but for keeping into budget, sometimes we can make a list. And everybody who is that you are need to give a gift, you put their name on a piece of paper and you put an amount that you want to spend. I know it's a very cruel thing to do, but sometimes for budgeting, it's a wise thing to do. So here we see here that sometimes if we do this thing and we follow this procedure, we know exactly what we're going to spend when we come out of the supermarket or out of the mall. Sometimes this is also about bulk buying. If you want to produce, for coming back on the first thing that I said here, on the first example, you could also buy in bulk. If you buy in bulk, of course, if you buy in bulk, you reduce your expenses and you go in some kind of production line, and you can extend this, especially with things in jars. You can keep them for a while and you will spend less money. So this will prevent you from getting carried away by compulsive shopping and draining your wallet. So here we are asked to boost our own creativity and to save money. The last card that we see here is also about food and doing things ourselves. So this is like a healthy reading here. Maybe we need to check on our health. We need to live more healthy. This is what we are seeing here. And we all know that we live in a hectic world. We have no time. We have very few time. And sometimes this card means that maybe we order out a lot. If it's not order out a lot, maybe we overspend in takeouts here, or we go to restaurants. This is what we are seeing here. But this card tells us maybe you should invest some of your time, as the other card tells us, in personal cooking yourself. Maybe it's a long time ago that you cooked, or you put your pans and they are already dusty, and you should cook more. This is what this card tells here. Of course, it's easy to buy takeout meals and buy things in the supermarket that are already finished, like gourmet dishes here, or for a lot of people, fast foods. The question, of course, is if these things are healthy, because this is also the card about healthy eating. We should eat more healthy. Maybe we don't eat too healthy, and this is why this card is here. Anyway, this card tells us also we should devote more time to our pots and pans. Get them back out of the closet, be more creative, and you will have less expenses. And if you have less expenses, you can invest this money that you don't spend in something else. And you don't have this hefty bill that you always have with the takeouts. So here we are asked to break the chain. We have to break the chain from overspending on takeouts and plan more home cooking time. Additionally, of course, you will learn to enjoy again the joy of culinary art, or if this is new for you, you will learn to cook better and you will eat better. And of course, you will be healthier and financially be better off. So this is all for this for the group of the stone group here. For Capricorn, I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other three that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the four will fit you. If you have interested in work, business card readings, or for your career, you can find those also. I do these readings with the classic Lenormand card readings. And then we have the philosophical spiritual card readings. They have a totally different angle, but sometimes they are a good addition to the other two card readings. Anyway, you are free to check them out. We never know too much. Anyway, Capricorn, I want to thank you for your time you spend on my channel. And of course, thank you for subscribing. See you next time, Capricorn. Bye-bye for now. Hello Capricorn, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your philosophical financial card readings. The first card that we see here is the card of love. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us that you deeply love the people around you, your partner, your children, your friends. You like your family a lot here, and we want to show them certain affections. And we do this, of course, by spoiling them. A present here, a present there, some money there, a dinner out at restaurants. And this is all for expressing your feelings of love towards them here. And you present this as a gift to them. Also, when something is coming up, like a birthday or whatever, you're searching for the rare pearl that will make their eyes shine once more. But this card also wants you to remind that love cannot be bought, and you're already aware of that. So rather than shopping around in the mall, how to please your loved ones, you should actually give them the most expensive gift of all. Now you're listening, and this gift actually costs nothing. Here we are asked to give quality time to our loved ones. Spend some time with them in private, show them your interests by valuing them your time and not with money or presents here. This card wants you to remind that the best memories that you make and will make, that we carry with us during lifetime and after, are related to funny anecdotes and activities that we did with our loved ones here. And it doesn't come from objects, toys, or whatever it is, or presents. So this card asks you to be gentle with yourself and see the positive side or the positive impact that it will have, or that will come from it, not only financially, but also it will deepen out the relationship with the people that you share and are close to you. The next card that we are seeing here is the card of proportion. What does this card tell us? Well, it tells us that everything is in life is relative, and we can only estimate the real value of our money if we put it in context to our own financial situation. For instance, a monthly payment for the loan of someone's house is different for a family living in a poor country, if they need to manage with one salary, if they still have a salary in the current days. And of course, they have then also, maybe they have several children, but they all need to manage this with one salary. Sometimes in the current times, $2 or €2 can make the difference here between eating or not eating 3 times. Sometimes if they live in very difficult, where there's a lot of difficulties, sometimes they cannot even have 3 meals a day here. So we cannot compare this poor low income family with a high yield one. Anyway, also other costs are different, like a computer. Sometimes they need a computer, sometimes they need also an Android phone like we, and these expenses are not the same for everyone. It's a very simple concept, but it's not so difficult to grasp here. And here, applying this on yourself here we see that our expenses, here we need to see that we balance everything very well out according to our own budget. So here we need to establish a certain relationship between the outflow of our money and our salary. This card tells us that it's you yourself who do the counting and who is in charge of keeping proportionate balance. Maybe certain things in your life financially are a little bit out of order here. And this tells us here, and also we need to ask ourselves here about the importance. If we buy certain things here, for instance, maybe for our loved ones here, if this is really necessary, this is what we are seeing here. If you see that you are out of balance, what you could do here is take a piece of paper, make categories of importance, and write everything down what you have spent, because this is the card of unbalance. So something is off here, and we need to see where the unbalance is coming from. So if you make the calculations and you put everything in context, you take your invoices that you have and you put them there, and you can immediately see where the problem is coming from. And then, of course, we can put everything in relation to our salary or our income. And of course, if you make these calculations, you will immediately see what is the problem. Sometimes in extremis, this card means that some people of this group might live a little bit beyond their means. The last card here is the card of gifts. What does this card tells us? Well, it means that we saw already that these people in this group are quite generous here. We like to give gifts, we like to receive gifts, especially during holidays here. We give in excess here. Valentine is just behind us here. But if you think about the gifts that you gave lately, did you show some form of creativity? This is what this card is about. Did you show originality, or did you just walk around in the mall till you found what you're looking for? This card, it tells us that you can be generous in the future without actually penalizing your wallet. Of course, it will require some time and planning, but it will be worth the effort. Rather than wandering around in the mall for buying small baskets of gifts, maybe you can come up with a few ideas like you see here on the card, and you could, for instance, create some recipes in jars. This could be homemade cookies. You can make some jams here. It's not so very difficult to make these things, and of course you can make this thing very trendy. You put some fabrics and ribbons around them here, and they will be highly appreciated for 2 reasons. Why? Well, because you made them yourself and you spend your time, because we all are aware that we have very little personal time. So you gave these people actually 2 gifts, or your friends or the people who is these gifts for, you gave them the gift of your personal time, and then you make the thing yourself also. So you, in most cases, we get a wow here. So you can put everything in there, even body creams or soaps or whatever it is here. In any case, you will wow the people here. This is what we see with this card. Of course, if you are not this type and you don't know, you are not a cook, or you are not able to do this, maybe we need to approach the thing in a different way. It's more a crueler way, but if we need to budget for certain reasons and we need to slow down a little bit, we want to make some savings here, what we can do is we can make a list. And to that list, you add a maximum budget for each person. I know it's a little bit a cruel approach, but sometimes we know exactly when we come out of the store what we will have. We know upfront exactly what our addition will be, and we will not be surprised when we come to the cashier and we need to pay, sometimes this is a very good way for adjusting our expenses. Also, I want to mention here, if you make things yourself, what you can do also is buy in bulk. And you go in a kind of production line. And if you make, for instance, recipes in jars, you can put that in a place. And when these festivities or these gifts need to be present, you can always pick them out and they are already ready there, because these things, if you put them in jars in general, they don't expire too fast. Anyway, this will prevent you from getting carried away from compulsive buying and draining your wallet. So this card wants you to boost your own creativity and save money at the same time. So Capricorn, this is all for the fire group. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this short philosophical card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check the other 3 that are immediately connected here. I'm sure one of the 4 will fit you. If you have interest in career readings for your future, for your work, or the business conditions for your business, I do also the classic Lenormand card readings for business, work, and career. You can check them on my channel. And then we have, of course, the spiritual philosophical card readings. They are an addition to the 3. So you have a little bit from all sides here, and we never know too much in life. So Capricorn, this is all for this month. I want to thank you also for subscribing to my channel, and we see each other next time. Thank you, Capricorn, and bye-bye for now.